What is up? It's your boy Grant here with the Groovy Files, and today we are finally diving into the long-awaited, after 2 years, the latest solo studio album from Drake himself, Iceman. Now, the first thing I wanted to say is I do have high expectations, or I did have high expectations for this album, because you're coming off a beef of you losing pretty bad, and just being like a laughing stock for like the past 2 years. But I will say this, from an overall, this is probably the most impressed I have been with Drake's production choices since, I want to say, like in 5 years, since Certified Lover Boy. Like, he truly did a great, incredible job of picking these beats on here. And shout out to the production team, because I'm actually very impressed. Like, I was kind of shocked to hear some stuff. But, so my big thing on here is, like, I'm going to start off with the good first. This is at least good enough to where it's like, it's not embarrassing or anything like that. Like, it's a Drake album. Like, you have your backpack type stuff, you got your hits, the hard hitting stuff, you got some of the R&B melodies, and then and I appreciate that he put in a lot of effort with the visuals, because it kind of made the rollout experience a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? They made the rollout experience memorable. Like, people are gonna remember watching that live stream and looking at all the visuals for the album. So first off, favorites for me: Make Them Cry, Whisper My Name, Make Them Pay. That's the one by Overcast, I think. What Did I Miss sounds much better within the context of the album. So I would say that it might not be my favorite. I'm gonna get shout out to that one. Firm Friends. So those are probably my favorites. Now, before I get into the good, well, I ain't gonna say I get to good. The good is that the production is absolutely great, and this is more than enough to say, hey guys, I am back. The bad news for me is, number one, the lawsuit takes a lot out of it for me. And it's like, yeah, you're talking, if he never sues, I would have been like, you know what? I'm gonna let some of this rock. I can't let some of this rock knowing that he did that. This music still sounds overall decent to good, but I can't let that fly. The second thing for me is, and I think this these are my two biggest problems. Number one, Drake often acts like, I'm gonna say this. This is the analogy I'm gonna use. Sometimes Drake acts like people like him for him, instead of like him having the brand new video game console that everybody wants to play. What I mean by that is that sometimes I feel like, when Drake's perspective on what he brings to the rap game, I wish it was way more of like from an artistic standpoint than it's the numbers. Because you kind of take a little bit of the air out of it for me. I feel like, hey, nobody could do these versatile styles like me, or do this or do that. I feel like, and him kind of comparing himself to Michael Jackson with the mic glove is like, yeah, Michael had great numbers, but that's not the only reason why people think Michael Jackson was good at what he does. Like, that's not the only reason. So that's kind of my big thing. And I wish it takes a little bit of the air out of me. If he gave me like a concrete answer that's like, artistically, this is what I do that nobody else could do, even if I didn't agree with it, I would let that rock. Because it's like, it's not so numerical. And it's like, when you look it back on it, it's like, if I didn't have the numbers, what did I have? Which is kind of my big thing. Because I give Drake a lot of artistical credit. Not many people could do what he does in terms of the styles that he attempts on albums all in one album. But my main problem with that is that in the past it's always been, oh, it's too bloated, too this or that. You need to cut out a couple songs from the fan reaction, blah 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 blah. Another thing that takes a wind out of my sails is I feel like him dropping 2 other albums was just unnecessary. On top of the fact that even if you're gonna drop 2 other albums, you couldn't just do it, like wait like a month to do it. I feel like that took a little air out of the rod for me. Not too much, but it was kind of like I want my focus mainly to be on this. But on the flip side, I don't like when people say, well, Drake, why is Drake still talking about this? Why is still talking about the beef? People do that all the time. Rappers have done that since the beginning of time. If they lost a beef, you still sending shots at somebody. Like, I consider this kind of in that Blueprint 2 type of thing, or that type of space for me. Because yes, he was the definitive loser, but like he throwing jabs here and there and everything like that. And yeah. But artistically, I feel like this is, I'm not going to even say this the most focused Drake has been in a while because of just the jazz he's throwing on here. But his ear for beats has been pretty on point this entire project, specifically for Iceman. I have my thoughts on the other 2. I don't like Made of Honor. I like the other one. That's not Iceman, but I don't like Made of Honor at all. But like I said, Make Them Cry, Whisper Your Name, Make Them Pay, and Firm Friends. Those are easily my favorites off of here. I think Drake did a good job of delivering just at least a decent to solid project back from all of that stuff. Now, and this is kind of my final talking point, and I kind of wanted to touch on this a little bit earlier. I'm tired of people talking about being neutral and being unbiased, right? Because I think some people's version of being unbiased is making up a vacuum where certain things didn't happen or certain things just people are making up. Like, for example, and shout out to Alphonse for this, so I'm going to shout him out. The Chris Brown review that dropped from Pitchfork was written by him, and I saw a lot of reactions to it, blah, 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 blah. But my main point is, like, y'all expecting a musical medium to have, quote unquote, completely objective reviews, and you're asking, well, why are we talking about him as the person? Why are we not just about the music? And it's like, he mentions things that he went through personally. The music was written by a person. I feel like people want to do, I don't believe in separating the art from the artist. And when I say that, I mean, I feel like people want to rewrite stories of artists and want the ups. They just want the ups, or they just want the downs, or if it's somebody you don't like. You have to tell the full story, and you're doing everybody a disservice without mentioning that. Like, for example, with Michael Jackson, people sometimes don't tell his full story. Same for a lot of people. Like, artists are not just a brand to protect. Artists are people too, and you're doing them a disservice while trying to not. You're trying to dehumanize them in a sense when you don't tell the truth, or don't tell, or say, oh, this thing actually happened, or I was there for this point in time, this thing happened, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like Yeah, that's really how I feel. Like artists are not just a brand to protect. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'll be back with more soon. I'm gonna record a little bit more often. Thank y'all.